Today, we're taking a ride on the Spirit of Canada. No, not the Spirit of Canada. The Spirit of Canada. WestJet is the second largest airline in Canada, right behind the flagship. But despite them not being the actual flagship, they're still a major carrier with a massive inter-Canada network operating out of their bases in Calgary, Vancouver, and Toronto to support their home country. They even have a pretty creative long-haul network with some pretty wacky long-haul routes that they utilize their 787 Dreamliner for, and a massive network of international routes into the US and Mexico. WestJet is actually considered a hybrid carrier, meaning that they balance the characteristics of a no-frills low-cost carrier and a full-service carrier. So, how well do they really use their hybrid model to serve their country as the Spirit of Canada? The plan today is to see what their domestic business class is like on their Boeing 737 MAX 8 from Edmonton down to Vancouver. So how well did they do that business class, or technically premium economy as it's branded, on one of the busiest routes in the country? What's going on, guys? Casey Flower here. Let's go see how WestJet is at being one of Canada's major airlines. Is it worth taking them over Air Canada, Canada's largest airline and flag carrier? Well, let's go check it and find out. Checking into a domestic WestJet flight through their app is nothing out of the ordinary. After getting in the know with some travel advisory nonsense and verifying contact information, we'll go further into letting it know the personal details. We'll then have another chance to add seats, confirming we aren't going to be safety hazards, and another chance to add bags. And then, finally, we're ready to go. It is just past 5, and we have about 45 minutes to kill until boarding, so we have some time. So, when in Canada, let's go get some Timmies. Can I get a vanilla cream cold brew, please?
We unfortunately don't carry cold brews. We only got iced coffee, if that's okay.
That's fine, thank you.
Vanilla iced coffee?
Yes, please, thank you. That'll be it, thank you. Alright, Tim Hortons is acquired. Next stop is a souvenir shop, as I kind of slacked on getting anyone souvenirs in my China series on the last trip. So let's go do that now. I don't know if it's just me, but I tend to overthink when I get people souvenirs, and overthink trying to get the right souvenirs for the right people and match like which people would like which things of what I find like in the souvenir shop. But yeah, I don't know, maybe it's just me, I just overthink. But yeah, we're at the boarding gate, and so far everything is on time. Part of the boarding announcement actually was saying how there's going to be fast free Wi-Fi on board for the WestJet reward program members. So I actually just now signed myself up for that so I can connect to it and see what that's all about and test it out once we get on board. So we are about a minute out from boarding, so I'll go ahead and board, and I'll catch you guys at the seat to see what the WestJet domestic first class seat's all about. Charlie Golf Lima Whiskey Sierra will be the MAX over the Canadian Rockies this early morning, and she was delivered brand new to WestJet in August of 2022. I made a very quick walk to my home for the next 2 hours. First class seat 3F. We got a width of 25.7 inches, a pitch of 38 inches, which is 1 point on my seat to the same point of the seat in front of me, and a recline of 5 inches. Alright, welcome aboard the WestJet MAX 8 down to Vancouver. First impressions on the seat so far? Yeah, nothing really too notable. It's a pretty standard domestic first class seat. Standard dimensions, so we have a width of 26 inches and a pitch of 38 inches. So pitch is just 1 point on my seat to the same point on the seat in front of me for legroom. So nothing much for dimensions and not too much for amenities either. We only have in-seat power, so we have a universal outlet on the big center armrest, which wasn't on when I got here at first, but it just came on a couple minutes ago. So we have working in-seat power, as well as a bottle of water that was waiting in the seat back pocket of every first class seat. So every passenger will have a bottle of water waiting for them who is flying in the premium first class. But yeah, apart from that, the Wi-Fi does work. I just connected to it. For now, it's just a Wi-Fi network that's actually super fast. And they also have a somewhat browser in the app with some flight information. But apart from that, the cabin crew came through with a post-departure beverage order. so we're gonna get that once we get airborne. But apart from that, they just closed the main cabin door, and we'll go ahead and push back, get de-iced, and get airborne. After getting de-iced with Type 1 fluid on the wing, it was time to go. We had a very tiny 10-minute delay, but we'll easily make that up in the air. Alright, we are airborne out of Edmonton and on our way down to Vancouver. So first things first, I went ahead and connected to the WestJet Wi-Fi network, and that directed me to the WestJet app with a few pieces of basic flight information. So it has a flight map, which is just the FlightPath 3D Pro Suite. So it has that FlightPath 3D Pro flight map, as well as the 360 exterior view that FlightPath 3D Pro has, as well as all the other FlightPath 3D maps. Aside from that, we also have a digital version of the in-flight menu, which shows what we have in all of the classes, so economy class, premium economy class, and business class, as well as what we get in all of the classes' durations. So obviously, we're not going to get a full meal in economy class on a 30-minute flight. But yeah, it just goes into more detail on what we get on specific durations in specific classes. But yeah, we also have an in-flight menu in our seat back pocket, which just shows in general what we get domestically on WestJet. So what smaller snacks we get on WestJet, and which specific drinks we get on WestJet. So we can flip through that. You can pause the video if you want to look at it in more detail of what we get for smaller snacks and meals. And on the next page, it also shows what drinks. So soft drinks, coffee, alcohol, whatever. So yeah, not too much, but definitely gets the job done for a longer, like 5 to 6 hour transcontinental Canadian domestic flight. But the Wi-Fi network itself did not disappoint. It was super nice to have, really fast, and especially free, which was really cool. So yeah, I went ahead and ran the good old internet speed test, and that did not disappoint at all, super fast. But the only downside is that it isn't guaranteed to work on all flights, because either it is not installed on a specific aircraft if it's older, or just not working on a specific aircraft, so it's not guaranteed to work. So with that said, the entertainment is bring your own device based, and which isn't completely ideal, is that since it's bring your own device, there is no device holder in the seat back to hold your device if you want to watch something, and go to that saying, but no in-flight entertainment screen on the seat back, which isn't ideal. But yeah, here in a minute, the cabin crew will come through with the post-departure beverage that we ordered on the ground, as well as some snacks. So we'll go ahead and see what those are all about here in a minute. Alright, the first class flight attendant has come through with the snacks and drink that we pre-ordered on the ground. But first things first, Exhibit A, we got sorta milk chocolate here. Exhibit B, we got potato chips, looking pretty good. Exhibit C that they brought out with the drink, pretzels. And Exhibit D, the drink itself, which did not come like this. I promise I drank it, but the drink itself, so I ordered the Sprite. So this is the drink that I ordered pre-flight for the post-departure beverage. But yeah, no breakfast or anything offered. Just those snacks that came in the snack basket for the premium passengers. WestJet actually brands their domestic first class as premium economy, as most low-cost carriers kind of do. But yeah, since this is technically premium economy, that's kind of all we got. No meals or anything, just that. But yeah, we are not far from top of the sun, so I'll talk to you guys in a few minutes once we get closer. Alright, we are on final in about 5 minutes from landing. On the rest of the approach-in, I'm going to use that time to rate the airline using my channel original rating system. I call it the Raleigh rating scale, very creatively named because my first name is Raleigh. If you're new here, I use this rating system to rate all of the airlines I take at the end of every one of my airline reviews. It uses 6 different categories to see how well the airline did at each of the 6. But if you're not new here, good job. Congratulations, you made it this far. How do you think WestJet did today? Well, let's go land in Vancouver and find out. The service was an 8 out of 10, as our premium class flight attendant Amanda took great care of the 11 of us that were in the cabin. She was very friendly, welcoming, and conducted the drink and snack service in an efficient manner. I just took the points off due to the lack of any sort of breakfast service as a more premium meal product. All we got was that snack basket, but we could take multiple snacks out of it though. The cleanliness was a 10 out of 10, as it was a very beautiful and well done 737 MAX cabin. The seat colors looked very nice to match the airline branding, and it was really clean and welcoming overall. The Wi-Fi was a 9 out of 10, as it was very fast and easy to connect to. You just needed to be a WestJet Rewards member. The best part is that it was all free. The only downside is that it's not guaranteed to work, as it isn't installed or perfectly working on all aircrafts. The food was an 8 out of 10, as there are meals that are given out on longer flights. The only thing I had to work off of to get any idea of what they were was the menu, as none were provided on this 90-minute flight. There was an okay variety that they offered, and I'll give them the benefit by saying that they looked okay to eat, just cold. But I'm no food expert, so you can do your own judgment based off the illustrations. At least they're edible and fulfilling. The entertainment was a 7 out of 10, as everything was bring your own device. It had the fast free Wi-Fi, which was super nice on this one, but it isn't guaranteed on all flights. It either won't be installed on an aircraft or just not working. All of the seats do have the in-seat power to keep your personal device entertainment charged, but on the downside, there's no personal device holder for it or a seatback monitor. The in-seat power also is not guaranteed to work, so be prepared for that if it doesn't. The seat was a 9 out of 10, as it was the standard domestic first class seat. I only say domestic because this type of larger wide seat is what would be branded as a domestic first class. It had the larger width and more legroom you would have on a first class seat like this. These specific seats did not have a device holder, but I have seen other seats on WestJet do, so I think that kind of thing's just gonna be hit or miss. The economy seats also look standard with the in-seat power too, and the regular economy legroom, thickness, and cushioning. It also had the power, which may or may not work, and they also may or may not have a device holder. So the overall rating for WestJet is going to be an 8.5 out of 10. I see ya. Have a good one. Thank you. Bye. Alright, welcome to Vancouver. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my review on WestJet as much as I did taking the flight. My final thoughts on it, yeah, 8.5 out of 10, not a bad rating. One more thing worth noting is that with the flight crew, I had a really chill flight crew on mine, but I got a buddy that took a WestJet flight and was filming it, kind of doing similar thing I do with like flight reviews and trip reports and stuff like that. But he was filming it, and he was filming a logo apparently, and just like that he got told off, and he wasn't even filming the flight crew, just a simple like logo of the seat, I'm pretty sure. But the flight crew got really angry at him, and as I was getting off my flight and filming one of the seats, one of my flight attendants asked me what I was doing, and I told her, yeah, I'm filming like a trip report, airline review, whatever, and she didn't really care. She actually thought I found a defect in the seat. But I said, nah, I'm just doing this, and she didn't really care. But yeah, as long as you don't film crew, then you're good. If you're doing any sort of photography or videography, whatever the case may be. But yeah, that just goes to show, just because I had show flight crew on my flight does not mean every flight will have show flight crew. But yeah, apart from that, seat was okay, Wi-Fi was amazing, food was okay, despite not actually having a proper meal or breakfast or anything like that. But yeah, I gotta go down to the South Terminal to catch the next flight out of here for the next video. Kind of gives you a clue what the next video is gonna be if we're leaving the South Terminal. So I got you guys back here for that on that adventure. Bye for now.